Well, hello. It's 11:11 on Saturday. I got up this morning thinking it was Sunday, and I decided I was going to go to Unity Church where they're going to have a memorial service for Brian Tilford. But that's scheduled on Saturday, but yet I was thinking yesterday was Saturday and that today was Sunday, and so I was going to go to the 10 o'clock service on Easter Sunday and then, hang out for the memorial service. I got ready, all dressed, went out to my daughter and son-in-law, and, they wondered, why was I all dressed up? And I said, well, I'm going to go to the 10 o'clock service. And I got informed that it was Saturday. And no, it's not a Seventh-day Adventist church, so... Anyway, that shows you I don't even know which day of the week it is sometimes. But I did wait over a half an hour for 11:11 to get here. And the title for today's video, which is actually tomorrow's video, Easter Sunday, is Rethinking Long-Held Ideas. The blurb for my video for Easter Sunday is a quote by Howard Zinn. We were not born critical of existing society. There was a moment in our lives, or a month, or a year, when certain facts appeared before us, startled us, and then caused us to question beliefs that were strongly fixed in our consciousness, embedded there by years of family prejudices, orthodox schooling, imbibing of newspapers, radio, and television. This would seem to lead to a simple conclusion that we all have an enormous responsibility to bring to the attention of others information they do not have, which has the potential of causing them to rethink long-held ideas. Also known as the paradox man, I have long challenged other people to look at things from different perspectives, and I myself have been challenged. And on some of the things that I've been taught to believe when I was younger, and some of the things that I was taught to believe as I got older, I have examined and re-examined and re-examined again some of the ideas that I've held. One of the things that has been a guiding factor for me is I've always placed high on my list of priorities and values the idea of being in integrity, of telling the truth, even if it's not truth that you think people want to hear. I've not been afraid to risk exposure, to be vulnerable, to be absolutely authentic with my own feelings. And I think that's probably one of the reasons that people choose to listen to me on a regular basis. And even in my fourth year, I have gained, not lost, overall numbers of people that subscribe or friend me on Facebook or whatever. I've certainly lost some, and I don't regret that at all. I mean, some people just aren't on the same wavelength, and I'm not on the same wavelength as many others are either. I do not, though, however, believe, as Max Egan said in his videos, that it's advantageous for me to be criticizing other people that basically want the same thing but are going about it differently. That's one of the biggest weaknesses that we have as humans, that if people aren't doing it exactly the way we would be doing it, we criticize them, we call them wrong, we might even drop into the unfortunate practice of name calling and stuff like that. And this is part of the human insanity, and I think it infects myself and pretty much everybody else that I know to some degree or another. Now, I'm going to go and read a couple. I don't know how much of this I want to actually read this morning. I posted this on Facebook, and I want to actually read some of what I posted and some of the comments. I just watched a video, Invitation to a New Point of Reference, made by one of my friends. Astrid van Treat, who is in Holland. I was going to share it when I noticed this message from YouTube. This video is unlisted. Be considerate and think twice before sharing. I wanted to share it because comments were disabled on the video. Anyway, she talks about seeing from a new point of reference. I'd really like to get it, but I struggle. Is she doing what so many of the so-called New Age people do, ignoring the hard realities of the world we live in and projecting a totally different world where the problems people experience every day simply do not exist anymore? I don't have the answer, but I sure would like to know how they plan to make this world they envision a reality in the lives of people. To me, saying that we do not experience it because we are not willing to have this new point of reference she talks about, which, from what I think I heard, is that we already have everything we need to live in this world, is a very simplistic and blame-producing attitude. I'm asking, pleading even, if you have a real plan that works in the real world, not just in the mind, please explain how I and others can experience it. I've wanted this my entire life, manifestation of a world of truth and love. It has to be real though, not make-believe, not airy-fairy, and not guilt-producing. You're just too whatever to get it. Help me. I'm sure I'm not the only one who wants something substantive that actually works. And there are, God, lots of comments on this already. Lots of comments. When I got to Kim's comment, she said, Ron, I've been led through meditation and dreams to let go of everything. My identity, my mind, my dreams, me. My beliefs, traditions, judgments, opinions, my sight which saw through my preconceived judgmental mindsets, so that I could see with inner sight replaced over the years of letting go. One of the outcomes is I see that everything is connected, and what we see as bad is not bad but necessary to expel the density so that we may evolve or vibrate to a higher, more positive, loving dimension. What I have written, this is in parentheses, what I have written is a very watered down version of my reality, close parentheses, but as I see only love unfolding for humanity, but I see only love unfolding for humanity. It's all in the letting go and trusting that you will know what you need to know at the right appointed time, and that you are not in control, but source, divine intelligence, God, consciousness, whatever you name it, is unfurling perfectly. It's got to be real from the inside out for the individual, I think. That's why we need to go within. And initially, I liked that. I read that, and I especially liked the part where she said, oh, you will know what you need to know at the right appointed time. That, I mean, I have experienced that in the law things. You know, oftentimes when I had something that had to be prepared, I would get the answer that I needed at that particular moment right at the right time. And there was perfect synchronicity in it. So I really resonated with that part of her statement. But then there were other things in the statement that I couldn't find complete resonance with, so I unliked it. And I don't know if I've ever done that before. But anyway, I wrote back, Kim, I hit like, then withdrew my like. I hear you, yet I don't hear you. Sometimes I have felt as if I was in the place you described. Then something would occur that would bring me back to reality, the reality of the world in which I live with all of my brothers and sisters. The problem is, no one of kind motive or benevolent intent seems to be in control of anything at all. Those who seem to be in control are malevolent psychopaths hell-bent on total domination of the entire world. I cannot turn a blind eye, as it seems so many claim to do or expect others to do, to the gross and horrific injustices in our world. Oh, I'd like to see this world I have seen in my meditations and visions, with people dancing in the streets, in celebrating our freedom at long last. I'd like to see that world come into manifestation and to play my part in helping to co-create it. I'd like to, yet sometimes it seems like an impossible dream as the nightmare of reality continues harming people and violating natural law and free will. I see Neil Dyer liked it, yet he continues to make excuses for the criminality of the current system and even calls it grace. I'm sorry, but it's really hard for me, and probably for many others, to get this idea that what we see as bad really isn't. Tell that to the victims of the violence and injustice that have actual experience with the criminality of the Matrix. Tell that to the people who are dying of diseases for which cures exist that are being held back by these psychopathic controllers. Yes, I'd like to see only love too, but the people that claim to see only love as I see them do nothing and take no positive action to bring about real change. Yes, it starts within, but until it manifests without, it bears little relevance to the world we have to experience every day, either in our own lives or as witnesses of what is happening in the lives of those around us. In 2012, 11 and 12, I was involved in RUSA because I thought that would bring law and order back to human society. I felt as the United States would go, the rest of the world would go too. And so I worked to reestablish the republic, because a republic to me is still the only legitimate form of government. Democracy is not a form of government. It's a way governments work, but it's not a form. Republic is a form of government. There's either totalitarian, call it by any other names, a totalitarian type of government or a republic. A totalitarian type of government is where an elite few control everything in the government. A republic is where the people control that leadership and bring them to account for everything that they do. And when they don't do things according to what is agreed upon, that's called a constitution, then they are removed from office and other people are placed in that will do the right thing. Well, RUSA didn't work. And then last year I got involved with OPPT, then Swiss Indo. And Swiss Indo offered this new system that I believed would be a perfect bridge. But I'll be honest with you. I have, for over 2 weeks now, waited for a response back from Mr. Sugi, Mr. Sino, and Mr. Aprianto, requesting a conversation, but I really wasn't proposing a conversation. What I proposed is that I would introduce them and allow Mr. Sugi, through an interpreter, to speak from his heart, answering some of the questions that people are most concerned about in relationship to Swiss Indo. As I said, I have not so much as even received an acknowledgement of that, even though I reminded Mr. Aprianto a couple of days ago, and I know he saw it because he liked the comment I put on his wall wishing him a happy birthday, and I asked about that, but he liked it, but again, no acknowledgement. And I watch as the people in Swiss Indo, some of them seem very ill prepared to bring about a world that works for everybody. There's still a lot of people that like the idea of having titles and think that titles give them the responsibility to boss people around. Nothing could be further from the truth as I see it. But there's still so much disharmony, even among the delegation. There's disharmony which breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. I do believe, as Howard Zinn says, that we need to rethink long-held ideas. All of us do. We need to examine and re-examine again and again those ideas that we hold. I mean, I'm willing to let go of everything that I believe would work for something that will actually work. Because what I'm looking for is something that works in the real world, not some airy-fairy mind control thing, or a point of view, or a different perspective. I don't want the perspective that everything is perfect, because I'm not blind. I'm not stupid. I look at the world and nothing is as I think it should be. And it's not as I think it should be. I see injustice. I see criminality. I see things that are not values at all to me, that are against my values. I see these in operation in the world around me, and people's lives are entrapped by these things. And people say, well, we shouldn't see ourselves as victims. The truth of the matter is the whole human race is a victim. All of us are victims. That's the reality of the human experience. And some people say, well, that's the way it's supposed to be because we have to learn the dark. Well, haven't we been learning the dark for enough hundreds and thousands and tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of years? Haven't we been learning the dark way long enough? Haven't we had enough experience with what doesn't work and what is not sustainable? Haven't we had enough of that yet? I've had enough of it. I want something that works, and I understand, as Max Egan said in his video, that it requires us working together and to stop fighting each other, because that fighting each other is a program. I want to work with people that have good ideas. I want to learn if they're able to create something real in the tangible world by going within and projecting that peace that they feel and that love that they feel within, projecting that out into the world so that it changes things. Not just so that it changes their lives. As I've said many times, I'm not free till all of my brothers and sisters are free too. As long as there are people in bondage and enslaved by any system at all, I'm not free. Because I want the whole universe to be free. I want the whole universe to operate under natural law. Do unto others as you would have others do unto you. The whole universe to have justice based on truth, not lies, not BS systems, belief systems pushed down our throat and indoctrinated and programmed into us. No, I want something that works, that brings peace and love and truth and justice and all of the values, the things that I value, the things that I believe all humans that have any humanity left in them value these things. And I don't know what creates the humanity that doesn't seem to have those values. I don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't get it. Why there has to be so much evil in the world. And I'm not going to say it doesn't exist like some of the New Age people do. It doesn't exist. It's not real. It is real. People experience it every day. It is real. And it bothers me. I want to rethink long-held ideas and challenge myself and challenge you to get out of the box and to get out of our own way. And whatever it takes to learn to love one another, to learn to listen to one another, and to hear with our hearts, and to stop resisting truth, and stop resisting the reality of our world, and look at it for what it is, and make the changes necessary to address the problems. Not ignore them, but to address them. Anyway, that's my Easter message, that we all come out of our grave, our tomb, and we rise from the dead of our imposed beliefs that only keep us in bondage. Let us all be risen on Easter Sunday. Thank you for listening. Namaste.